Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, first time watching, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Because tonight, my absolute final book haul for 2025. Stay tuned. Okay everyone, I'm happy to be back after a short, call it work break. And yeah, I've got my final book haul for 2025. And I say that because, yeah, it's going to be a book buying ban imposed on me from, I think, the 5th of November, right now. Because it's a read what you own challenge, people, to encourage you to read books from your shelves instead of buying your books constantly. So it's a good thing that over October and November, I've had about 6 hauls. Actually no, I think from September. But I've had lots of hauls, people. And these are hauls, books that I really want to read. Books that I've seen on booktube, people raving about it, positive reviews. And not just horror. I want to dip my toes into other genres, like fantasy. Although I've read a lot of fantasy before starting booktube. But I want to read like grimdark. And I want to read more dark fantasy, that kind of stuff. Interesting stuff. As well as all the horror. And it's also going to make this particular book haul kind of different, because although it is mostly horror, 80%, 70% horror, I've thrown in some books there. I've bought some books that I really want to read over the next year or two, maybe sooner rather than later. And I've also chosen books thinking also about events coming up, like June on the Range, like Occult's Detective October, which I kind of took part in this month, but without realizing, because Matthew Corbett's series with Robert McCammon was kind of, he is kind of an occult detective, like from way back then. But yeah, let's just get going with the books, people. I'm excited. Some good books, yeah. Okay, I'm going to start off with a trilogy that I'm super excited to get into. And yeah, earlier this month I hauled Ghost Road Blues. This is the first part of the Pine Deep novel, Pine Deep trilogy. Yeah, look at the cover, so awesome. And what I'm hauling now is part 2, I think, not part 3, Dead Man's Song by Jonathan Maltby. So yeah, I haven't got the 3rd book, it's somewhere here, but I'm dying to read the series, people. I've heard such good things. One of my subscribers actually said it's one of his favorites. And yeah, I think it's a vampire series. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to go into this completely blind. And I think it's about kind of a stranger coming into town. And yeah, there's this festival. I don't know if it's over Halloween. The town is called the Spookiest Town in America. And yeah, it's supposed to be, let's read the first little bit. 30 years ago, a blues musician called the Bone Man killed the devil at the crossroads, only to be beaten and hung, like a scarecrow in a cornfield, or so the story goes. Today the people of Pine Deep celebrate their town's grisly past by luring tourists to the famous haunted hayride full of chills and scares. Okay, so yeah, apparently this dude comes back. Well, yeah, I imagine that's what it's about. But it's a trilogy and I'm super excited. So yeah, Ghost Road Blues, Dead Man's Song. Okay, next up we got Red Rabbit by Alec Grecian. Now I heard a booktuber that I really enjoy rave about this book. And I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the booktuber. But can you guess what readathon I'm thinking of when I want to read this book? Wanted for Witchcraft, Dead or Alive. Yeah. Something like a western horror western. And yeah, it says here, an old-timey western strapped into the world of magic, witches and demons, all told with heart and set at the pace of a runaway train. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. I'm not going to read more, I want to go into blind, but that's Red Rabbit, and it'll be perfect for June on the Range. Yeah. wanted dead or alive. Okay, next up we got a book that's probably the furthest away from the horror genre. But people, I'm super intrigued by this book. And I got intrigued by this book by watching a video from a friend of mine, Mark, from the Book Thing, where he spoke very highly about this book. And I trust his judgment. He's got a great taste, he's got a great channel. Go check him out, the Book Thing. And yeah, this is called The Will of the Many. And it's by James Islington. I think this will be a really great way to test my boundaries. This is fantasy, but I don't know if it's historical fiction. I think it's called dark academia. I've heard that term thrown about a bit. It's fantasy, but like with academics. And yeah, I need to read the back to you because I am intrigued. And I do enjoy kind of magic systems and fantasy. I've read a lot of like kind of high fantasy. But this sounds really interesting and kind of dark. And I'll tell you why. And it says here, I tell them my name is Viz Telemus. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident happened 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into their prestigious school. Yeah. So I think when a school or university is involved, then it's dark academia. I tell them that once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. Yes, I imagine the society, you know, it's kind of a hierarchy. At the very top, at the very bottom, your will is drained to the next level, to the next level. It's like kind of a hierarchy. The most important people at the top. I can't imagine the people at the bottom, how they live. But yeah, it's just such an interesting concept. And of course, yeah, there's the death of his parents, I think it is, or family, and he's out to solve a mystery. So there's a mystery as well, people. And I haven't read a lot of mysteries. I've read some Sherlock Holmes, but this looks very different, very interesting. Fantasy, dark academia. Let me know if you've read this book. I'm intrigued, yeah. That is The Will of the Many. And check out Mark's channel. It's brilliant. Okay people, I've bought another Richard Lehman book, but this is one that I've always wanted to read. I love carnivals, you know, and I'm actually going to come to that later. You know, I love creepy carnivals, festivals, that kind of thing, clowns. Coming to that later. But yeah, this is a book I've really wanted to read. And that is A Travelling Vampire Show. And you know, in South African shops and stores, you can find Richard Lehman. But I have never ever been able to find this book. So I ordered it and I'm going to read it. I'm not sure when, because he's hit or miss for me. But yeah, A Travelling Vampire Show. Okay, next up we got some grim dark. And you know, I promised myself to read more fantasy. What I like about grim dark is that apparently the characters, you know, there's not like kind of black and white in terms of like there's morally grey characters. So protagonists can be pretty evil. Antagonists can, you know, so there's kind of overlapping in terms of that. And I have to read this book. And it says on Goodreads that I've read this book already. But yeah, The First Law, Book 1. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. So yeah, I'm going to get into the series. I'm going to get into more series. And see what it's all about. I think I might really, really enjoy this. And yeah, there's nothing on the back cover. And I'm going to go in blind. All I know is that it's full of morally grey characters. You know, kind of up to no good. Okay everyone, next up, got a book that I promised that I would read this Halloween, last Halloween. Never got hold of it, even on Kindle, didn't read it. That is A Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. The only thing worries me about this book, it says here part treats. I hope this is not second or third part of a series. Otherwise, I'm going to have to break my book buying ban and buy the first book. Because yeah, like I said, a favorite thing for me is creepy carnivals, killer clowns, that kind of thing. I love that, people. Yeah, I've just read Something Wicked This Way Comes. I think for like the 4th time. It's magical. Love it. But yeah, so that is Cotton Candy Massacre. Perfect for next Halloween. And let's continue talking about clowns. A book that I've read this year and I gave 5 stars to because it's so much damn fun. And that is Clowns vs. Spiders. I have to own it. Now, I love Jeff Strand. I think I've read 3 of his books. And he does comedy and horror, like a blend, like so well. This book, it was scary, but at the same time, I said in another video, just piss yourself laughing. You can't help yourself. That's it. The dialogue and the interaction between these clowns. This is a favourite of mine, and I'm going to reread it in future. So what I decided to do, people, right, yeah, got 2 more Jeff Strand books for you. I love this author. I want to read more comedy horror, people. I want more comedy horror in my life. So I found these 2 online and I thought, yeah, have to have them. Get to the clown one just now, but first of all we got Wolf Hunt. Look at that cover. And it's about 2 thugs, 1 innocent woman and 1 vicious frickin' werewolf. Meet George and Lou, thugs for hire. The kind of intimidating yet friendly guys who will break your thumbs but be polite about it. Their latest assignment is to drive across Florida to deliver some precious cargo to a crime lord. The cargo, a man in a cage. Can't see where this is going. Though even seems perfectly human, they warn that he is in fact a bloodthirsty werewolf. George and Lou don't believe in the supernatural, but even if they did, it's daytime and tonight isn't the full moon. The instructions are straightforward. Do not open a cage. Do not reach into the cage. Do not throw anything into the cage, and they don't. Unfortunately, Ivan doesn't play by the usual werewolf rules, and the thugs find themselves suddenly responsible for a ferocious, escaped beast. Yeah, this is going to be a shitload of fun. That's all I can say. I'm really going to enjoy this. Yeah. Okay. Then next one. Next one. And you're going to love this cover. In fact, there were other covers on Kindle that I preferred. But still, this is freaking kind of ugly and awesome at the same time. Let me know if you think I'm right. Jeff Strand. Dead Clown Barbecue. Or in South Africa, we would call it a dead clown braai. Yeah. Okay, a man who finds a severed nose on a plate on his dining room table. Oh, I think this might be a collection. A bell that can summon Satan, maybe. Casual Fridays at work that get out of control. A cheery outlook on the post-apocalyptic landscape. The final thoughts of a doomed skydiver. Okay, that's heavy. A girl punished by having to share a bed with her grandmother's corpse. Okay. That's very heavy. Revenge via baking a tarantula into a cake. A romance between 2 carnivorous, genetically enhanced plants and the lost tale of Fangboy. So yeah, demented stories in Dead Clown Barbecue. I don't like saying barbecue. I like in South Africa we have braais. That's what you call it, braai. The meat on. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, Dead Clown Barbecue. Next up, a book I'm saving for next Occult Detective October. So I feel bad that I didn't take part this year. But anyway, yeah, and that's an event created by MJ. I kind of did take part, but I didn't take part, and I didn't mention it, so sorry. But yeah, that's an awesome event about occult detectives. And this is Stormfront, Jim Butcher. So it's part, I think it's the very first book in the Dresden Files, which I want to read, which I've been meaning to read. I've heard so much good about it. And yeah, let's see if I got anything here. Yeah, Harry Dresden is best at what he does. Well, technically, he's only at what he does. So when the Chicago PD has a case that transcends mortal creativity or capability, They come to him for answers. Wait, he's some supernatural creature, Harry, I think. For the everyday world is actually full of strange and magical things. Most of them don't play well with humans. And those that do, they enjoy playing with humans far too much. Like a cat with a mouse. Like Layla with a cat. That's where Harry comes in, because it takes a wizard. Oh, he's a wizard. Yes, Harry's a wizard. Wrong book. To catch a whatever the hell he has to catch. There's just one problem. Business, to put it politely, stinks. So when the police bring him in to consult on a grisly double murder, committed with the blackest magic. Okay, maybe I have to go. No, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you short there. Oh, Harry's eyes light up with dollar signs. But where there's black magic, there's a black mage. And now the black mage knows Harry's name, and things are about to get very interesting. Magic can get a guy killed. Yeah. Stormfront. That's what I'm going to say. I'm thinking of the other Harry. Yeah. Okay, next up we got a sequel that I am very, very, very interested in reading. And it's got, the first book was kind of like a dark fairy tale retelling. Very, very dark, horrifying. It's supposed to be YA, but really kind of, no. That's one of my favourite books. I love it. That's John Connolly, The Book of Lost Things. And yeah, that's the book that I haven't... the sequel that I found online, I didn't know there was a sequel, is The Land of Lost Things. That's the book I bought. So yeah, maybe I have to reread the first one again, which will be a pleasure because I love it so much. But yeah, what's it about? It's about this boy. I'm not going to look in the back there, remember. And it's about this boy, and his mother dies. And he's very angry. He doesn't have control of his feelings. And you know, he's kind of locked up in his mother's room, and it's full of books. And the dad finds another woman, which makes him even more angry. And it's about this creature, right? That, yeah, this boy ends up in this very strange kind of fairy tale world with kind of monsters and things happening that are very similar to fairy tales that you'd expect, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but completely warped. And what I always think about it is that if you think about this boy's state of mind, he's angry. Maybe he's kind of doing something to this world. But anyway, he's got to find this evil creature in this book of lost things. And I love this book. I love it. And yeah, you might call it dark fantasy, you might call it YA, dark fairy tale kind of thing. But it's horror, they're people. I absolutely love this book. And so, it is going to be an absolute pleasure to read this book. Yeah, super excited. Okay, next up we got Peaceable Kingdom by Jack Ketchum. I've just recently finished The Girl Next Door, which was a very heavy read, but a very powerful read. And I loved Off Season. A lot, very, very brutal, but 5 stars for me. So I need to read more by this author. And the thing is about this is a collection of short stories. I did some research. Apparently this is a very good collection. And I want to see how well he writes short stories in the shortest form. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be damn brilliant. And Stephen King calls him, Ketchum is quite simply one of the best in the business. Yeah, so he's also got a couple of books out called Red. I'm a little bit worried about that one. There's a dog, and there's dog death, and it's cruelty, and I don't know. Let me know if you read it. And The Lost. So he's got other books out that I really want to read, but I chose this. I want to read me some more Jack Ketchum. Okay, and I was in a silly mood when I bought this next book. I've got quite a lot of Guy and Smith, but one book I keep hearing about, kind of classic pulp horror, kind of stupid but really fun, you know, silly kind of way, is Night of the Crabs. Look at this cover. So yeah, I just have to read it. he's not the best author in the world, but I just love this. I love the summer of '76. A scorching heat wave hits Britain, and holiday makers flock to the beautiful Welsh coast for sun, sea and sand. There's going to be lots of violence and lots of sex, and maybe violence during the sex with crabs, huge crabs. But something is terribly wrong. When bathers start disappearing, marine biologist Professor Cliff Davenport discovers giant crabs lurking in the deep. Giant crabs hell-bent on destruction. Can Davenport and the military annihilate these monstrous crustaceans? Love that. Before they extinguish humankind? Or is mass mutilation just a pincer? Let me do that again. A pincer grip away. Mass annihilation. By the time you hear clickety-click, it's already too late. It's just going to be good, silly fun. Very gory, I imagine. I've read his books. He is very gory, but it's just funny. It's just silly. And I believe this is the first of, I don't know if it's a trilogy. Let me know if you know down in the spaces below. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Just mindless entertainment. Yeah. And I like horror like this because when I read books like The Girl Next Door, that does stuff to you. Sometimes you need something lighter, and sometimes something lighter can be another horror book, like Clowns vs. Spiders or Night of the Crabs, where it doesn't take itself so seriously. Yeah, sometimes a really heavy book. Yeah, The Girl Next Door is the most disturbing thing I've ever read, and I needed something light after that. You know, sometimes you have to. There are different kinds of horror. This is just fun. It's like Clowns versus Barbecues, that Wolfman thing. Clowns vs. Spiders. Sometimes nice to have fun with horror, and it's a good way to get into horror, I suppose. It's another conversation. You know, if you don't want it to be too heavy, you find a book that has some humor in it as well. So yeah. Okay, finally we got Birdman by Mo Hayder. Now, in the store up the road from us, there's a lot of Mo Hayder people. And every time I go into the store, I look for this freaking book. They never have it. They got a whole section of Mo Hayder. It's a crime thriller, right? But this one is the one I'm most excited for. Because yeah, it's very brutal. It's murder of these women, I think. But yeah, okay, 5 young women have been ritualistically murdered. That's the worst. And dumped near the Millennium Dome in southeast London, when a post-mortem examination reveals a singular, horrific signature linking the victims. The police realize that they're on the trail of the most dangerous kind of offender, a sexual serial killer. Yeah, the book is apparently sadistic, really gruesome. And yeah, so I suppose a thriller horror kind of hybrid. But I just heard a lot about this book, and that's why this is the one I'm going to read first. And if I really enjoy it, I'll read more Mo Hayder. I'm just happy to find this. So yeah, it's so frustrating when you go into my little bookstore, people. Well, there's quite a selection of books, but it's always the same old thing, and there's so little horror. Yeah, and it's when you've gone once or twice, you go in there and it's the same stuff. There's no turnover of books, of horror, of authors. That's so frustrating, people. Really frustrating. And that's why a lot of these books that I've hauled over the last 3 months, I've had to go online. I've had to, because books that I really want to read over the next few years, they're going to be on my pile of possibilities every single month. So yeah, I've spent money. But it's money well spent, because these are the books I'm going to be reading, and the books I'm excited to read. And what I'm going to link at the end of the channel right now is, some of the other hauls I've done. So check it out. And yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books. Should I prioritize them for this year, maybe early next year? I'm always interested in to hear from you people. Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, if this is your first time, give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It'll really help me out, help my channel grow. So yeah, and take care of yourselves everyone, look after yourselves. Until next time, keep those pages turning, and cheers.